Have you ever stopped to really think about your food? I mean, not just what you're eating, but what it actually means. For you, for the planet, for everyone. It's kind of wild to think about, but the stuff on our plates is connected to some of the biggest challenges we face today. Climate change, public health, even our economy. And here's the big question. Should governments get involved and promote vegetarianism? You know, encourage us to eat less meat for the sake of the planet and our health? Some people say, yes, absolutely. Others think it's overstepping, like, who has the right to tell us what to eat? It's a debate that stirs up a lot of emotions, and today we're diving into all of it. Let's start with the environment because, honestly, this is where things get pretty intense. Did you know that livestock farming is one of the biggest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions? Yeah, it's responsible for more emissions than all the cars, planes, and trains in the world combined. Crazy, right? And it doesn't stop there. Raising animals for food uses an unbelievable amount of resources. Here's a stat that really puts it into perspective. Producing just 1 pound of beef takes about 1,800 gallons of water. That's enough to fill 32 bathtubs. Imagine how many people could have clean drinking water with just a fraction of that. And then there's deforestation. Right now, huge areas of forests, some of the most biodiverse places on Earth, are being destroyed to make space for cattle ranching. It's not just wiping out habitats for animals, it's accelerating climate change. Trees are like the Earth's lungs, soaking up carbon dioxide, and when we cut them down, we're basically choking the planet. So yeah, the environmental impact of eating meat is massive. But here's the thing, it's not just this abstract, global issue. It's personal. Rising temperatures, water shortages, extreme weather. This is already affecting people's lives. So it makes you wonder, shouldn't we all be doing something about it? And wouldn't it make sense for governments to lead the way? Now, before you roll your eyes and think, oh great, another lecture about giving up meat, hear me out. I'm not saying everyone needs to go vegetarian overnight. That's not realistic, and honestly, it's not fair to ask people to completely change their habits all at once. But what if governments introduced small, simple policies to help us make better choices? For example, what if schools started offering more plant-based meals, not just as an alternative, but as a normal part of the menu? Imagine kids growing up seeing vegetarian food as delicious, fun, even exciting. Or what if restaurants got tax breaks for putting creative vegetarian dishes on their menus? We could totally change the way we think about food. Instead of focusing on what we're giving up, we'd be exploring new flavors and ingredients. And it's not just about the planet. Let's talk about our health. Did you know that processed meats, like bacon, sausage, and hot dogs, are classified as Group 1 carcinogens by the World Health Organization? That means there's enough evidence to say they definitely cause cancer. Red meat, like steak or burgers, is in Group 2A, meaning it's probably carcinogenic. It's pretty alarming, right? Especially when you think about how much meat a lot of us eat regularly. Switching to a vegetarian diet, even part-time, can make a huge difference. Studies show it reduces the risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and even some cancers. Plus, plant-based diets are packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals, the stuff our bodies need to thrive. So why not encourage people to make healthier choices? Here's an idea. What if governments ran public health campaigns about plant-based eating? Kind of like anti-smoking ads or those campaigns encouraging us to exercise more. But instead of framing it as you shouldn't eat this, they could focus on what you gain from eating more plant-based foods. Better health, more energy, longer life. But let's be real for a second. Promoting vegetarianism isn't as simple as it sounds. Food is personal. It's tied to culture, tradition, identity. For a lot of people, meat isn't just food. It's family recipes, celebrations, even livelihoods. And that's where things get tricky. Take farmers, for example. Livestock farming is a huge part of the economy in many places. If governments start promoting vegetarianism, what happens to those farmers? That's a valid concern, and it's one we need to take seriously. But here's the thing. Promoting plant-based eating doesn't have to mean abandoning livestock farmers. What if governments helped them transition to other forms of farming? They could offer training, financial incentives, or support for growing crops instead of raising animals. Think about how we've adapted in other industries. When renewable energy became a priority, it didn't just replace coal jobs. It created thousands of new roles in solar and wind energy. The same could happen in agriculture. And let's talk about accessibility, because this is a big one. A lot of people think vegetarian food is expensive or hard to find, and in some places, that's true. But it doesn't have to be. Imagine if governments invested in local farmers markets, community gardens, and affordable plant-based food programs. Fresh, healthy vegetarian options could become as normal and affordable as fast food. Now, I get it. You might still be skeptical. Change is hard. Food is tied to our habits, our comfort zones. But here's the thing. We've adapted before. Remember when plant-based burgers started popping up everywhere? At first, people were curious but hesitant. Now they're on menus at fast food chains, and no one even blinks. It's proof that when you make plant-based options accessible and delicious, people will give them a try. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. The planet is in trouble. Climate change, deforestation, water shortages, rising healthcare costs. These problems are massive, but they're not unsolvable. Every small step counts, and governments have the power to make those steps a little easier for all of us. So, let me ask you again. Should governments promote vegetarianism? Personally, I think they should. Not to force anyone to change, but to make it easier for all of us to make better choices. Imagine a world where fresh produce is everywhere, where vegetarian food is exciting and normal, and where we're all doing our part to protect the planet, one meal at a time. The choice is ours, and it starts with what we put on our plates. Thanks for watching, and the next time you sit down to eat, take a moment to think about your meal. What does it mean for you, for the planet, and for the future?